Today on Titans for Life, we talk about, are the Titans looking at a Super Bowl run? And we discuss a few other things right now on Titans for Life. Welcome to Titans for Life. As you all know, we only have one rule here: be nice. I want to thank everybody out there for tuning in today. Today we have an interesting topic. I've been looking at some of the moves and some of the things that they've been doing, trying to get a little bit better in the secondary, trying to get a little bit better here or there, where we're pretty sure we know who their starters are going to be in those areas, but they're trying to get the backups to be a little bit better, and some of the roster moves they've been making and how they've been making them. I honestly believe that that there is some signaling going on there. But first, as always, we've got to keep it real. Keeping it real, the Titans have made some really interesting moves. A lot of them haven't been talked about a lot because they're considered, secondary moves, upgrading a few things here or there, but, bringing in guys to increase competition. But I think what the Titans have been doing really is they're trying to get into what I would call a real Super Bowl run. I believe that they're going all in, as J. Rob said, that he doesn't want to feel that way again. And the only way to not feel that way again is to really go to the Super Bowl and win it all. And I think the Titans have one of the absolute best shots of doing it this year than they've had in a long, long time. If the offense can stay healthy, at least healthy-ish, healthier than they were last year, I think the offense is set to really kind of explode with some explosive players out there that the Titans have picked up, and also some guys who they've brought along over the years, and some guys that they've picked up in the draft. I really think that the Titans offensively, there are fewer question marks to me when it comes to some of the parts of the offense. Now, wide receiver position, who plays what position, the X, the Y, the Z, the slot, all of that's kind of up in the air at this point. But I think what the Titans are looking at is that, look, there's going to be some guys who are going to come along throughout the season, and we've got some guys who are going to be ready day one on the season. And if the guys who are coming along the season get better and better as the season go on, then you've got a real offensive juggernaut to deal with here. I think offensive line-wise, they've gone out and made some moves that have upgraded certain aspects of the offensive line where they were weak last year. And I think they have some guys that can play utility positions in case of injury throughout the line. So what I'm looking at really is, what they did over the last few weeks, and I hope they're going to be doing some more things. Some guys are going to come available defensive back wise as the season goes, or as the preseason goes on. From what I hear from training camp right now is that they are thoroughly impressed with a lot of things that are going on, and that this is going to be by far the most difficult year for cuts that they've ever had. By far. That they are really trying to drill down on, some cuts and who they're going to cut and how they're going to cut. And a lot of these guys, they're actually talking about, look, some of these guys are going to end up on other teams and they may bite us at some point because these guys are that good. That even guys who don't make the team are going to be able to go and play for another team somewhere else. And, just keeping it real, that is the fear of most coaches and most GMs out there, is that they pass on a guy and they end up somewhere else. I did watch the game this last weekend, and my assessment of Malik is still holding valid. That Malik has got a lot of work to do, that he has a lot of footwork that he's got to work on. He's got a lot of things. He was tucking in running the ball way too many times when they had guys running, NFL wide open down the field on seam routes, crossing routes, drag routes. I mean, You name the route, and he missed it at some point in time. And at some point in time in the middle of a series, he got yanked out of there because he tucked the ball and ran too many times. And look, they want you to make that throw. They want to see you make that throw. Whether or not it gets intercepted or not is not of their concern. They want to see if you can make the throw. And if not, that's something they need to work on. You need to make the throw. Malik, you are the third string quarterback. You're not going to come off that third string quarterback status this year. It's not going to happen. You have too many things to work on. At Liberty, I get it. At Liberty, you had to really kind of, run a lot, run for your life because they didn't have a very good offensive line, and that cost you some problems. Well, in the NFL, these guys are while they're not an ideal situation which you faced this weekend, it is a situation in which you still need to make the throws of wide open guys running down the field instead of tucking the ball and running. Tucking the ball and running is not the way we do things in the NFL. Just not. Logan ran for his life a lot, and there were he didn't have a whole lot of time. But offensive line wise, you got to realize that we were playing guys who are competing for a backup of backups, and backup of backups becomes an issue. These are marginal guys at sometimes, and sometimes you're going to miss blocks. They're young guys. They're going to miss blocks. They're going to miss their assignments, and that's just the way it's going to be. Are they playing with proper technique? Are they playing with proper pad level? So don't read a lot of stuff that you see into. Don't read a lot into what you see in the preseason at this point. Over the next couple of weeks, you're going to be able to start reading a little bit more into it because more and more cuts are going to be made. They've got to get down to the 53-man. Instead of having 4 weeks, they only have 3 weeks to do it now. So you're going to start seeing more cuts more often. I'm not exactly sure when they're going to be making cuts. I'm filming this soon after the game. So I'm just not sure where you're going to be seeing when you're going to be seeing in what places they're going to be making cuts. But I do think that my understanding is they're still trying to discuss, are they going to keep 6 or 7 wide receivers? That is a discussion because of how they're wanting to revamp the offensive line and who they're wanting to keep on the offensive line and where they're going to be able to play. They want. My understanding is they want a couple of kind of utility guys there so that they don't have to keep so many offensive linemen, but you don't know what they're going to do. You don't know that could change it. In 15 minutes, J-Rob could pick up the phone and go, no, we're going to keep 6 wide receivers. We're going to keep the extra offensive linemen. Or you go, no. There's just so many things that you're going to see. And you're going to really need to start looking at, the Titans and how they're going to be running their offense. Their offense is going to be slightly different this year, and people are going to be somewhat surprised with a little bit more of a vertical game. We have a passing game coordinator that's going to be running the passing game. So I think you're going to start seeing a little bit more utility out of our wide receivers and things like that. Defensive backs, I think we're pretty good on defensive backs. They may bring in a guy or two here or there from time to, throughout the preseason to see if they can upgrade the second string, upgrade the backups a little bit, maybe upgrade in certain situations that we got into trouble with last year. Particularly on, 3rd and 4th down where we got in a little bit of trouble at times. But I think you're going to start seeing that upgrade happening. They're going to just start upgrading the roster everywhere. So I think that you're going to be seeing that. I think that we're going to be a lot better offensively when it comes to our second string. We're going to be a lot better offensively or defensively when it comes to our second string, particularly in the secondary. They're going to be bringing in guys. They're going to be releasing guys. So that's what I look at. And then when you start looking at the moves that have been made, you have to say absolutely that they are trying to make a Super Bowl run just because of how things are going. And they're being serious about it. They're being very strategic about it. And I think that you're going to see that A.J. Brown was not as big of a deal of a trade for what we got out of the trade. So I think the Titans are right around there. They're going to be really kind of in that spot of, maybe throughout the season somebody gets cut from a team and they need them, or there's a trade offer that comes up right before the season, or within the next few days. So look for those types of things. Look at how these things are taking place and what the Titans are doing and how they're doing it. Now, when it comes to special teams, I've heard a lot of things about special teams. Special teams is going to be really special this year. That's what they're aiming for. That it's a really special team. Don't let the hype overrule some of the things that you've seen over the last year or so. Randy Bullock is going to be our place kicker. He is really a phenomenal place kicker. Remember, this is preseason for him too. He's still got to remember what it's like. He's been kicking against air. So now now he's got guys rushing at him. So you've got to really take into account that there's a difference between kicking against just air and nobody's coming at you and people coming at you. And, he's got to settle in. I saw some bad calls from the refs too. There were some pretty bad calls that the refs made or didn't make at times. But it's preseason for them. There's a reason why preseason exists, and it's not just to throw out there, to go out there and get some guys some reps. It's also to get your second and third string some reps. It's also to get coaches reps, to get players reps, to get your rookies reps, to get your kickers reps, punters reps, to get everybody reps, including the referees. So, be calm, stay calm. This is not anywhere near close to panic. We're, 8.5 weeks away from anywhere coming close to panic. People panicked last year when Derrick Henry went down. People panicked last year when A.J. Brown went down. They panicked when Julio Jones went down. Don't panic. This team has shown, if anything that you should know from last year, is that don't panic, because this team and the front office as well as the coaching staff can handle these situations. So don't panic. Panic when they panic. When you see the coaching staff out there panicking, then you have full permission to panic. So don't panic at this point. We haven't even started the season yet. We're still in preseason. These games don't count. They're exhibition games. Don't worry about it. When I look at the mechanics of a player, I've been seeing some things that I didn't particularly like. But once again, they're trying to figure out with this personnel, what can they call? So there were some, what I would consider some not so terrific calls by the offense. But once again, they're trying to figure out what they have with this unit and what they have with the backups and the units, the place that they can call no matter who's in there. So I honestly believe that this is how great teams do it. So be cautious, be careful. Nobody's a bum that's out there on that field, and I've seen those comments on Twitter. I've seen them on Facebook. Oh, so and so's a bum. So and so shouldn't be out there. Well, I tell you what, if the reason why they're out there is they're probably better than all of us. I know they're better than me. So they're better than all of us. They're more fit than all of us. They're on an NFL field. So someone saw something in them somewhere, and those someones who saw something in them are better judges of talent than us. So we need to, cut back on the vitriol, cut back on those types of things. These guys are professional NFL players. Even if they only step foot on that field in a preseason game or at practice or on the practice squad, they're better than what we are doing right now. So chill out on that, guys. Come on now. Be nice to people. Yeah, they may not make the team, but they actually had a shot to make the team. They were up there in Nashville. They were up there playing. these guys are, they're giving their all, and they're playing well, and sometimes they're not, but sometimes they are. But I'm just tired of seeing the vitriol out there from people who've never played an NFL down and people who don't know what they're talking about. I try to be nice and try to explain, this may have been this or this may have been that, because I don't know everything about football, and neither do most of you. So, but what I do see is I see some things that go on that are unusual, I would say, and I would say that more than likely something happened. There were some plays where there were multiple receivers in this around the same area, and that's not usual. Unless you're high-lowing a guy or high-lowing a specific type of defense. And I saw some misreads, what I think are misreads, but, just looking at what I was watching on, all 22, they looked like there were some misreads, because when you got a guy wide open down the field and you're Malik and you're running with the ball, then something is definitely wrong there. Now, once again, I will say these guys did not have a lot of time, but the whole purpose of some of this, what I was told is that the whole purpose of this was that these guys were supposed to throw the ball. They wanted to see what Malik had. I saw his footwork, and from my opinion, it wasn't very good, but it's getting better. It was better than what I saw at Liberty, and it was better than what I saw film where he was throwing elsewhere. So I think that Malik is getting better, and we need to really kind of pump the brakes on. He's the second coming of Tom Brady or Lamar Jackson, or he's got a lot of work to do. And the more I've watched the film, for you younger guys, film is the videos that are posted on NFL Network on the All 22. The more I watch the All 22, the more I watch his footwork, the more I think he's got a lot of work to do. That doesn't mean that he can't do it pretty quickly. It may take a year or two. So everybody needs to pump the brakes. Yes, he has a spectacularly beautiful arm. He can throw the ball a country mile, and but I see some accuracy issues. I see some footwork issues. But I do think he has all the tools to be a really good quarterback. But he has to transition to the NFL. He needs to transition to the NFL, and he needs that time to transition to the NFL. So rushing him out there is not going to do anything for his confidence, and it may hurt him later. But anyway, and I wanted to briefly touch on tight ends. The tight ends, from all what I can tell, are looking really well. They're looking really good out there. They're doing their thing. Of course, the tight ends were held out. Starting tight ends were pretty much held out. But my understanding of what I've seen of film at practice and during live drills and things like that they're looking really, really good. So I think we're going to have a tight end presence. We're going to have some sightings of tight ends catching balls. We're going to have some sightings of tight ends actually blocking well. I think that is going to be a big part of the Titans' offense is the tight ends. I think that linebackers are playing well. Once again, a lot of this is footage that I've seen elsewhere of practice footage and things like that. They're playing exceedingly well. And from what I hear from my contacts is that this Titans defense, because they're starting out together the whole season, may actually be better than what they finished last season in the last few games of the season. They may actually be better. And if I am an offensive coordinator or an offensive line coach, to be quite honest with you, I'm scared to death because if the Titans' defense and their linebacking core is better, that's going to be some problems for me. I'm going to end up with sleepless nights and a lot of Tums. So I've been hearing about the defensive line. The defensive line is getting more push. They're being more active with their hands. They're going to get more penetration, and that could cause problems. I'm hearing that progression on the defensive backs is coming along. It's not where they hoped it'd be, but it's not as bad as they thought it could be. So they're right in the middle, right there. They're still trying to get their reads. They're still trying to get their defense set when it comes to the defensive backs. I'm talking about your corners and your safeties. I think there may be some things that go on in the next few days with them. I've heard some rumors of some things that may happen. But, today is just, I'm recording this on Sunday. So today, I'm not sure what they're going to do on today. So anyway, I was just wanting to hit up a few minutes right there. I've gone 20 minutes, I've gone much longer than I really had wanted to, but I just wanted to keep you there and give you some knowledge about what I've been hearing. Derrick Henry is doing extremely well. They haven't really done a whole lot with him. He's been working out a whole lot. And I just wanted to remind you, in your life and in all things, always keep it real.